In rowing, we often talk about rowing long. But why? Why do we talk about rowing long? What does that mean? And how do we make sure we're rowing long, but the right length? It can get complicated, and I see a lot of people talking about it, and we're all slightly uncertain about it. So in this video here, I want to try and rest you at ease and give you some pointers to give you confidence in the length of stroke that you row. First of all, why do we want to row long? Well, we do want to create a long rowing stroke because we're putting our body through a greater range of movement. If I'm rowing this long, then my body isn't working through its full range of movement. I'm cutting off part of the stroke and I'm not getting the benefit that I could be getting from spending time on the rowing machine. After all, we're on this machine to exercise. We're not on this machine to sit and relax and watch TV. So we may as well use our full length of body and machine. But when we talk about rowing long, we don't want to be trying to row as long as we possibly can, reaching as far forward as we can and leaning back as far as we possibly can, because both of those extents to the stroke are going to be putting our body in positions that we don't really want our body to be in. When we take the rowing stroke, we're putting force through the legs. We're pushing back, often quite hard, depends on the session and what you're doing in the workout, but we put a lot of strain through certain areas of the body. When we're leaning all the way forward, we're putting our lower back, our lumbar spine into flexion, and as we push with the legs, we put a lot of force through that position there. And as we're taking repetitive strokes for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, that repeated strain in that uncompromising position is going to have detrimental effect on the muscles around that area and potentially the joints and the discs in our back. And that's where a lot of injuries come from when it comes to rowing. So it's really important to make sure that we sit in a strong position that doesn't put our spine at risk, that doesn't make us ache unnecessarily, and make sure that when we're putting tension through the body or force through the body, we're able to deal with it and cope with it. So the idea there is that when we get on the rowing machine, we sit down and we find that neutral spine position. So I quite like sitting down, slumping down, then overextending and then finding that middle point. Do that a few times and you can find that middle point. And we're looking to sit upright, sit strong, particularly from the lower back, without having a rod strapped to your back. And as you roll forward, you maintain that neutral spine position. You can rock forward a little more from the hips while maintaining that spine position, and make sure that as you roll forward, you're not putting yourselves out of that position. So you're going to put tension in that point when you take the stroke. We know the catch position by now. The catch position is this frontmost position where we catch the stroke, we get ready to take the stroke. We have that neutral spine position, we sit forward, we rock our hips forward slightly so our shoulders are in front. If you draw a line from your shoulder down, it's in front of your hips, and our shins are vertical or as close to vertical as you can. And this comes to one of my other points that I want to make reference to here. Me, as an individual, I have always gone by textbook standards a little too far forward. I can overextend my shins. And so you might watch me rowing and see me go beyond vertical when it comes to my shins. Look, I've done that for 25 years, but I've never had a problem with my knees, with the compression in my knees, with compression in my ankles. It is just my anomaly. It is just something that I do naturally, and I find it very difficult and kind of unnecessary to restrict that movement there. It's not causing me damage, it's not causing me harm, it never ever has. So quite often people pull me up on that. This is the point I want to make here. What I'm saying here isn't necessarily right for you. You create a stroke that's right for you. You create your length of stroke that you can sit comfortably and confident and strong in. If you can find that for you, that's what we're after. There are principles to adhere to, but there are not rules. And that goes for most things in rowing. There isn't a right length of stroke. It is what your body is capable of doing, making sure that you're sitting in a strong position so you don't cause damage to your body. So we are looking generally for shins vertical, strong lower back, shoulders over the hips, arms out straight in front of us, shoulders slightly forward, and that is our front range position. We are not trying to get the longest position we can. We're trying to find a long position in our strong range of movement. And the same goes for the back. When you push back, when you come to the finish of the stroke, we're not looking for the longest stroke you can possibly get. That is hard work, it's unnecessary, it's putting our back under strain crucially, and it's going to take a hell of a lot of energy to hold us there and bring ourselves back in to take the next stroke. That is going to get fatiguing over time. So it's the same as the front. We're looking for a long but strong position. Strong lumbar spine, same position, neutral position, leaning back 5 minutes past the vertical, 5 minutes past 12 o'clock. That is our finish position. That is where we want to finish to. We're not looking for as long as we possibly can. We're looking for our strong, long stroke. So we have the finish position. We have the catch position. We have a confident, strong lower back. We push the legs first. The force goes through the legs, right up our back, into our lats, into our shoulders, through our core, through our legs. And we hang off the handle as we push the legs back, bring the body through, finish off with the arms, finish in this strong position. The next point of danger, or danger, I'm making this all dramatic, is on this journey forwards that's called the recovery. It's called the recovery for a reason. Use it to recover. Use it to take the tension out the shoulders, tension out the feet, tension out the body. Glide forward. And as we start to move the seat forward, maintain that pace all the way forward. Quite often people accelerate forward and accelerate out of their strong positions. It's very easy to do. I understand why it happens, because when you're rushing forward, you can't control your body position, and that momentum sends you into flexion in your lumbar spine and pushes you forward. Yes, you're creating a long stroke, but you're not creating a strong, effective long stroke. So the recovery is there to recover, but also to prepare you to take the next effective stroke. So gliding forward, it is a useful part of rowing. It's an important part of the stroke. It is not just wasted time. We don't need to rush forward. We push back, accelerate back, and glide forward. There's more time than you think there is. So where are we? One more area that I want to talk about very quickly is sometimes if we don't feel we can get to the position we want to, quite often that's down to tight muscles. And quite often that comes down to two areas, hamstrings and hip flexors. I think that's part of daily life. Sitting at a desk, driving, doing day-to-day things that can very quickly, very easily tighten up the hamstrings and the hip flexors there. So I do encourage us to spend just a couple of minutes before you get on the rowing machine, or a couple of minutes every day. It doesn't have to be long. Just very simply stretching the hamstrings, giving yourself even a standing hamstring stretch, and a very simple kneeling hip flexor stretch to open up those hip flexors. If we're tight here, we become restricted here. Quite often, it encourages us to reach a little far forward and put ourselves out of that range of movement that we want to be in. So if we're looser here in the hip flexors and in the hamstrings, we can slide forward effectively, we can sit in the position we want to be in, and we can therefore generate the stroke we want while staying in that strong range of movement. All of this leads into rhythm. When we become accustomed with these strong, confident positions, and when we're in control of that push back and glide forward, then we start creating a rhythm that is really effective and comfortable. And when we start sitting in a rhythm that is effective and comfortable, we start to be able to be more consistent with the work that we do in any workout, whether it's a steady row from start to finish the same, or if it's intervals where we're changing things all the time. If we're able to create and hold a rhythm with our strong body positions, These workouts on the rowing machines become really quite effective and even more efficient than rowing is already. Remember, we use every muscle in the body, every stroke we take. And when we're in rhythm with that, in control of that, in the long strokes that we're creating with effective body positions and effective strokes, safe from injury, confident in our positions, then every minute we spend on these machines are going to be beneficial to us. To very quickly summarize in 2 lines, we are not looking for the longest stroke we possibly can find. We are looking for the longest stroke we can find as individuals. My stroke is going to be different to your stroke. You just look at these points that I've talked about today and find that stroke for yourself. It's about finding your effective long stroke. Nothing more than that, nothing less than that. It's all a game. It's all an experiment. I've been rowing for 25 years. I still get things wrong. I do things well. I do things not so well. But it's all about exploring. You're not going to get it tomorrow. It's going to come over time. And the more consistent we are, the more we practice it, it's going to come and embed in ourselves. Strong, confident, effective rowing strokes. They're going to be best for us all. If you found that useful, please let me know. Ask any questions down below. If you like this video, please do think about subscribing and look out for the next video, which will be along very soon. Have a good one. Bye.